Let's take a look at updating the configuration data for your hardware from within StatSeeker reports. When StatSeeker discovers a device, it pulls down a range of configuration data from that device and then starts polling the device for time series data. This config data gets updated in any subsequent discovery and as part of any rewalk of the device. You also have the option to update much of this configuration data from the StatSeeker side. Now, these changes aren't pushed back to the device, but instead update the StatSeeker configuration data for the device. And there's a few ways to do this. You can apply bulk changes to any number of devices or interfaces through the API or via auto-grouping. Now, there's an example of making these changes via auto-grouping in the documentation, and there's a video of updating interface Opera status polling. Just take the principles demonstrated in there and apply them as needed. The other option is what we're going to look at today, and that's making config changes from within reports. The obvious choices of report to make these changes are the device and interface details report. Let's start with the interface details. Now, with most reports, when the cursor changes to a hand, you know you've got to drill down to another report. In the interface details, that holds true for the device name. It'll send you off to the device viewer. But for these other fields, it being a config report, you have the option to alter the configuration details. So, clicking on the title allows me to update the interface title. The edit screen displays the MIB, the field's lock state, and the value. Update the value, hit save, and the config change is made. Now, something that I've seen on a few customer servers is interface utilization values of greater than 100%. You might run a top util report and get graphs at the top of the report with no visible data in them. And if we drill down into that interface, we can see crazy util values. Utilization isn't a value that we can just pull from a device. It's not a value in their MIB. Instead, we take the total traffic flowing across the interface and compare that to the reported interface speed, and you get utilization. If the device is reporting the wrong speed, while all other metrics are correct, the utilization is going to be wrong. So to fix this, in our interface details report, I'll sort by speed, and here's our problem. The interface is reported as 100 meg, and it should be a gig. Click the field to update the speed. Now, remember when I mentioned that the config data is updated during any discovery or rewalk? If the device is reporting the wrong speed, then I want to be able to stop that process from setting the speed back to 100 meg. So I'm going to lock the field. Same for in and outbound speeds. Now, any field with a Boolean value, poll, no poll, on, off, that sort of thing, will work as a simple toggle. No config, click to toggle. Once a change has been made in the UI, we need a configuration build to occur before that change is applied. Any change you make is going to add an entry to the cron. Now, in a worst case scenario, it might take up to 5 minutes to kick off a build in the background, and the build itself could take 10 to 15 minutes to complete. Typically, you'll see a change such as that fix we just made to the interface speed, reflected in your data in about 5 minutes. So, interface details report, update interface title, speed, as well as polling and non-unicast traffic statuses. Let's have a quick look at the device details report. In here, I can update the device and host name, IP address, ping and SNMP polling status, SNMP communication details, and the latitude and longitude for the device. So again, small changes can be done from within a stock report that displays the value, and for bulk changes, you'll want to head off to auto grouping or the API.